Hello, welcome to my second Elden Ring farming guide. If you haven't already, make sure to check out my first farming guide, which is going to cover a lot of the areas in the early game, and this video here is going to follow on from that. Now, also check out my Golden Scarab guide, which is going to give you a talisman, which is going to give you 1.2 times the number of ruins for each enemy killed, and that's going to get you a lot more experience points and level up faster. So we're in Fort Faroth, which is going to follow on from my previous video. As I said, this is the area where you killed that big dragon, and also it had 6 baby dragons as well. Now, if you're like me and you unfortunately killed the big dragon, well, you can always come into this fort here to farm some of these bats and also these winged misbegotten creatures. And honestly, this is a better place to farm than those dragons, because those dragons, they can take a long time to kill. They've got long health bars and they fly around everywhere as well. Whereas these creatures here, the bats themselves, they just take a couple of hits and they give you 1,000 points. And these winged misbegotten creatures, you can stagger them after about 3 hits or so, and then you can just go to town on them and kill them pretty easily after that. And you get about 1,800 ruins for each winged misbegotten creatures. The only thing you really have to worry about is that they have this lunge attack, which can instant kill a lot of lower level characters. And even at level 80, which I am in this video, they can still instant kill you. So altogether, there's 7 or 8 enemies here, and you could get about 10,000 ruins from this spot alone. You could go upstairs and kill a lot of those soldiers upstairs as well, but I just find that it's much quicker to actually just do this room and then just go back out to the side of grace and then just do this room all over again. So 10,000 ruins per every couple of minutes means that you could probably get around 200 to 300,000 ruins per hour, and you could level up really quickly, especially like if you're around level 40, level 50, which is a great time to come over here. And there's no bosses in the way either, so you could just ride all the way from Limgrave if you wanted to, ride all the way over here and just do this fort. Now, the only thing you have to watch out for, as I showed you just then, is that the misbegottens have this lunge move where they just grab you and kill you. But even if they kill you, usually you're very close to the doorway anyway, so you can easily come back and get the runes that you drop. So I don't think there's that much risk in this area. Okay, moving on, this is Deeproot Depths, and this area is really for mid-game characters because it's behind a rather difficult boss called the Valiant Gargoyles, so you really need a level 80 character around that to get past him, and kudos to you if you can do it better than that. But in this area, these ants are pretty sweet farming spot because they don't really have very strong attacks, and you can kite them one by one. And so there's about 10 of those ants in this main clearing area, and there's around 6 or so around the corners if you go further south and also further north as well. So there's lots of ants in this area, and they would give you around about 12,000 points altogether, 12,000 ruins I should say. And there's a site of grace that is very close as well, so you can always come back to the site of grace and you'll be right there at that spot for farming those ants. Now, the other thing is that you can also use your summons or your ashes. So here I'm using my Mimic Tear or Mimic Tear, however you want to pronounce it, and you could let him just go to work, but it's actually much faster if you go and join him, and that way you can clear out the area twice as fast. So I reckon you could probably do the entire area in a couple of minutes if you wanted to. Now, the other thing I should also mention is that I feel like these ants are a lot easier or less riskier than those winged misbegotten creatures because they don't have an instant kill attack, whereas the winged misbegotten creatures do. And so these ants are pretty easy to kill, especially if you only have to deal with them 3 or 4 of them at the one time. Okay, finally we're at the last but also best place to do farming, and this is also once again in Deeproot Depths, and these are the broken statues. In this run, I'm going to be doing 5 of these broken statues, and it's going to take around 2 minutes. Now, you could do less if you wanted to and just do the ones at the top there and just do 3 broken statues and it'll take you faster. Or you could do more of them. You could do 6 or 7 and go further down to the lower ground level area there. But I found doing 5 was pretty much the optimum time for me. Now, each broken statue is going to get you about 4,000 ruins. So if you do 5 of them, that's about 22,000 ruins altogether. And that is with the golden scarab as well. So make sure you have that. Otherwise, you're going to be doing the same amount of work for a lot less ruins. So as you can see there, I'm just riding down this tree route, and you just have to follow the tree route down to the broken statues. And this is the lowest one that I'm going to, and then I'm going to ride it back up to the ones in the building up the top there. You also want to make sure that you're avoiding their flames that they breathe out as well. So you really have to time the runs, so they can easily knock you off these tree roots. You kind of have to treat those statues breathing fire out as a bit like traffic lights, because when they breathe fire, you don't want to cross where they're breathing fire onto, and then you can go after they stop breathing. But as you can see, they only take a couple of hits and you get 4,000 ruins, which is just way easier than those Fort Faroth dragons that I showed you in the last video. And those dragons take a lot of hits and they have a long health bar, and you still only get about 4,000 ruins for them. So this is just way better than farming those Fort Faroth dragons. Now here especially, you want to wait for those flames, so you got to make sure as soon as he finishes breathing that you go after that. So 20,000 ruins per 2 minutes gives you about 600,000 ruins per hour. So this is a really good spot to come even if you're over level 100. And I'm at level 120 right now, and I'm still coming back to this spot just to do some farming here and there. And make sure you just walk right to the end of that tree root before you fall down, so you don't fall down all the way to the ground level. And that is about it. I hope you enjoyed this farming guide, and if you did, make sure to leave a like and also to subscribe to this channel for more Elden Ring videos, and I'll see you in the next one.